Good evening. Blessings to you, blessings to you, blessings to you. Come on in. I am going to ask you to please like, share, comment, and subscribe. I am so excited. It is with great pleasure to introduce the one and only Reverend Dr. Seretta McKnight, affectionately called the Sister Minister, a product of Roosevelt Public School System, a graduate of Syracuse University, an activist, an author, a community leader. She has her own talk show, an administrator, and special event producer. She wears many hats. From the White House to the church house, the Sister Minister. How are you?
Well, let me say good afternoon or good evening to you and your viewing and listening audience. Denise Newsom, what an honor, a privilege, and a pleasure to have been invited to share with you on this evening. How are you? I'm good. How you doing?
I am doing well. Thank you. How did Sister in the Struggles get started?
Sisters in the Struggle is one of the many efforts that were born out of the Million Women's March back in October of 2007. And needless to say, we were so motivated after having gone through some serious challenges in the community with the school board and that whole history, which you'll be able to read about in my forthcoming book. It's just about there. It's been a 20-year project plus in the making. But Sisters in the Struggle, I went to the city of sisterly love. It was Queen Mother Moore too, Cheryl Emily Moore, who said, listen, we need to get a bus. We need to go. I wasn't interested in a bus. I wasn't interested in Washington. I was not interested. Sometimes when you get so crushed in spirit.
Right.
And so she said, well, I'm going to go get the bus, because normally every entity, whether we were with Dr. Sharpton, whether we were with the Sisterhood, BNP, whomever, we crisscrossed the country. There was a team of us, and we would crisscross, we would support. We worked on a local and national level, but when I had gotten the air deflated, it took a minute. So I said, I tell you what, Sister Moore, you get a bus, I'll get on it. Because once you think you're done, and it just so happened she went and got the bus, so I got on. And we went down to Philly. It was a whole busload of sisters, and met some other sisters. And when the sisterhood comes together, we're going to be 25 years old next year, Sisters in the Struggle.
Wow.
And when the sisterhood comes together and just gets about the business, things get done. So that's how we were birthed out of the city of sisterly love. And we came with the concept where Women's History Month, we celebrate the sisterhood. And in December, we celebrate our champions, which is the brotherhood. And the purpose and point is for everybody to understand in their local communities, you've got sheroes and champions all around you that you see every day. And that is who we encourage our young people to look up to. And then, of course, the youth division, CPR, Cultural Project Rejuvenation. They were our youth group. And that whole group, the initial and second group, I mean, they're doctors, engineers, scientists, educators. Ronald Taylor, oh my God, one of our bright shining stars. We had him when he was knee high to a nickel, if you will. Just the leadership, and they are all across the country. So that's the genesis of Sisters in the Struggle. Thank God for Vice President Beverly Cunningham, Controller Sandra Murphy, General Secretary Grace Humans, and then the Brotherhood champion, Dr. Gary Battle. He is Mr. Chairman for the Breakfast of Champions, and Deacon Tommy Humans, of course, is the president of the champions, and Jeff Dennis is our organizational liaison. And I tell you, the brothers do the work with the sisters side by side. And so it's been a blessing. And we are looking now to ensure the legacy for those generations to come. And we're doing our succession planning. So that's the long and short of sisters.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. What do you consider that makes a good activist? What makes a good activist?
The ability to act, the ability to act with the principled position, the ability to understand that God has placed all of us here for reason, for season, to do work. And so we have the ability to say yes. That whole transformation for me down in the city of sisterly love, that's what I call Philly.
Right.
It was life-changing and put me on the trajectory that I now enjoy. After having, when you fly high and you come down and then God sees fit to restore, then you can't do anything but say yes. What makes a good activist? Courage. First, belief in God, that a God is larger and in charge, and that in the event that you are in relationship, then you understand when God speaks. Then you need courage, and you need to be able to stand your ground. My daddy used to tell us from the time we were young, if you can stand the weight, the truth is bound to come. So a lie can't live forever. Truth crushed to earth is going to rise. And then the power of the ancestors and the examples. You have to keep in mind that we grew up during an era when it was our responsibility. Angela Davis was our Shira. Sonia Sanchez, the words of, I remember when she did our 8th grade moving up exercise, the keynote was Sonia Sanchez. And then years later, I ran into her at a State of the Black Union engagement where we had some of our children with us, because Sisters in the Struggle, we've traveled children across the country, coast to coast, to college campuses, etc. When the State of the Black Union was taking place, be it there, be it with Dr. Sharp and National Action Network. I'm one of his founding board members. Wow. So and so I had the privilege of working under the late, great Reverend Dr. Wyatt T. Walker. I still have the privilege to call Reverend Sharpton I don't call him my big brother anymore, but I call him my elder. So it's surrounding yourself. If there's an issue, it's been verified, and people call on you because you have no problem speaking truth to power. That helps in terms of being a good activist.
Right.
Doing it for service. That's all an activist is. Very good service.
Good service, right. Right. Wow. What social problems are you passionate about, and why are they important?
Women and children. The family, but definitely women and children. I am so, on the one hand, excited to see the times that we are in, where the sisterhood is evolving and being moved to levels from the background. We've always done the work, don't get it twisted. But now we're doing the work, and we are being saluted and acknowledged. It's being acknowledged, and that's important. And so that's really working with women and children and families, education, a major impetus to the work that I have had the privilege to be able to do and still do. When we talk in terms of our super seniors, I'm a senior now, I'm an elder, the super elders, my mom's generation, that great generation.
Yes.
And being able to still call on the super seniors, especially Denise, coming out of this, as they say, unprecedented time. That's the word that has been woo. But the reality is, it is an unprecedented time only if you don't know your history.
Right.
So racial profiling, we were involved with Rev with that. When you talk about the situation of how police have not been protecting and serving, extremely passionate about justice, about, thank God for those who are on the front line that we keep
Yes.
in prayer. Um, I remember a time when people didn't want to take a picture next to a picture of Reverend Shaw.
Wow.
I remember. Now they're kicking down the door. And what's the difference? The brother remained consistent
Right.
throughout.
Right.
And so, yeah, I'm one of them that can talk about uh, folk who did not want to. And I look and see some of them that are still here today. And I just smile. I'd be like, God, you know how to make an enemy a footstool.
Yes,
So,
you do.
yeah, so
Yes,
that's the
you do.
issue. This whole thing of policing.
Yes.
People go, oh, we need to reimagine. Stop it. They came to be because they were the continuation of the slave patrols. Okay? Instead of protecting and serving us, it's all about the punishment and the put in place. So, and I know I'm not one of those folk who say, well, everybody, they aren't all bad. That's not what we're talking about. I'm not disagreeing with you, but that's not what we're talking about. So
Right.
focusing in on conversation, and one thing I'm real passionate about are young people who like this BLM movement. Oh, lovely. Standing their ground. So what? They're not doing it quite the way that you do. They consult with some of us who they know are legitimate and have been out here on
Yes.
the front line. So am I passionate about it? Absolutely. Am I passionate about justice? Absolutely. Am I passionate about the retooling of those who are supposed to be serving us, protecting and serving? Absolutely. Did Breonna Taylor's murder give us cause? Absolutely.
Yes.
And pause. George Floyd's daughter said that he was going to change the world, and he did.
Wow.
And then just look at all of the murders that
Yes.
have been taking place. Look
Yes.
at the brother down in where's Louisiana, the one who just, oh, I don't have my producer's not in my ear, so I can't call his name. Old girl used to be able to rattle all this stuff, but where it's just coming out.
Yes.
It's murder. I mean, there is something severely wrong
Yes.
when you think it's okay to take somebody else's life.
Yes.
But see, the real fear is that folk think that now, see, you can't hide anymore that the world has browned.
Right.
Okay, that now melanated people are the majority and melanemic people are not.
Right. Right.
Well, we ain't interested in trying to wipe y'all out. Why y'all still trying to wipe us
Wipe
out?
us out. Yep.
If we're going to really address this question, this issue, and this is something I'm extremely passionate about, because Dr. W.B. Du Bois said the great question of the 20th century, I'm paraphrasing, but the great question of the 20th century will be that of the color line. It
Right.
was never addressed. And so now here we are with a God who could take everything and just shut it down.
Shut it down.
Shut it down.
Mm.
And have the world see a murder alive and in living color. Think of that on top of the trauma we already experienced.
Yeah.
And until we can come around the table and we can pull that Band-Aid off, and let's address it. How do we address it? Let's talk about reparations and then let's do it. Now, why should that be a bad thing?
Right.
But the biggest fear is that I have found, and even in discussion with some of my melanemic brothers and sisters, I have found that underlying sometimes all of it, those who are very honest will share, we're not going to treat y'all the way y'all treated us.
Right.
We still here.
That's right.
And now the world has brown.
Yes.
We're not going to do to you like you did to us because we understand how that is. So look, let's all get it together. See, where I live, where I was raised, I was never a minority. So I wasn't raised with that, that mentality.
That mentality.
Down. Thank you, Lord, for giving me the parents that I was blessed to have in the family. I was blessed to have, mommy and daddy. Mama La, she's the original Mama La. Hey, Kamala, Vice President Harris. She's the original Mama Law. It was so funny when she had gotten in. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna get back to it. She had gotten in office, and when she was doing interviews leading up to, and she made this claim. She said, and her kids who call her Mama Law and MOM. But my mother, my 87-year-old mother, God bless her, she texts, she can email. she's more tech savvy than me. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. And her phone and her text blew up when that article, the series came out and they had me in on TV and they were like, you the original Mama Law, Mama Law. But anyhow, Denise, those are the things I'm passionate about. I have the privilege of serving as founding convener of Women in Ministry, State of New York. I have the opportunity to lead an absolutely awesome group of sisters. Then there's Sisters in the Struggle. My oldest children, they're 25. Then Wimsney is behind them, and I'm sorry. The Black Celestial Choral Ensemble are my oldest children. They're 44 years old on the campus of Syracuse University. Sisters in the Struggle, 24 years old, going to be 25 next year. And I mean, we have a family, a sixth family that is second to none. And then, of course, Wimsney, Women in Ministry, State of New York. Those are my youngest babies, where we have our model of ministry is the Reverend Dr. Margaret Elaine McCollins Flake, who now, of course, has been elevated to senior pastor of the Greater Allen Cathedral. Our prophetess in pumps, if you will, would be the Reverend Dr. Gina Stewart. We have Sister Renita, Reverend Dr. Renita Jean Weems, our trailblazer. These are all sisters in ministry whom we have named the awards for, so they will live, legacy will live. And then, of course, my personal Shira, the Reverend Dr. Cynthia Lynette Hale, who is our visionary enthusiast, the Visionary Enthusiast Award named for her in her mega church, back when a mega church wasn't really a mega church. She wanted a few sisters. So that's my energy. Those are my passions. I hope that answered your question.
It did.
And family. And
family, yes. And family. You actually kind of touched a little bit in my next question to you. What are some of the approaches and methods you use in your work?
Relationship building.
Right, okay.
People. I can actually go back to folk I've been in relationship with since I was a young girl. I can go back over 50 years.
Wow.
50. over 50 years. In some instances, 55. So building relationship, trust, mutual respect. I give a dog the time of day. That's the way I was raised. Yes, praise the Lord, Shiros. I see you, Cynthia Faye Ramsey, Carter. Yeah. Hey, sis. I don't know if I'm supposed to do that, Denise, but
it's okay. It's okay. You have your way. Have your way.
when I see them, but yeah.
Good. That sounds great. That sounds great. What are like some of the challenges and rewards that come up with your work?
I didn't ask to do it. It's a calling. Right. I didn't ask to do it. Every time I get into a fix or am challenged with something I've never encountered before, because it happens, I keep it authentic. I keep it, as the children say, 100. Keep it 100. Right. And part of that is because transparency is a beautiful thing.
Yes.
You can't tell me what I've done more than I can tell you what I know.
Yes. Yeah.
You ever see folks, Denise, you ever see folks, I remember when such and such. Well, baby, I remember better than you. It was me. So full transparency is a blessing. Knowing who to trust. I have been blessed to be surrounded. People say, well, you can't trust everybody. I have been blessed to be surrounded by some powerful folk. Right. And I am one who welcomes. In other words, some people have a problem with folks shining.
Yes.
The reality is that if you look at the nighttime sky, there are many stars, so many you can't even count. But beloved, if you look, each star is shining.
Yes.
Each star is different. Each star has its own bling.
Yes.
God is the originator of bling bling.
Yes. Come on
And
here.
so, that being the case, your star is going to shine bright. My star is
Yes.
going to shine bright. That star over there, in other words, we all have gifts and talents. We ain't got no time
No
to be
time.
envious, jealous, or
Yes.
as the young people say, hating on
Yes.
folk. Or listen, what God gave you, God gave you. And
Yes.
Lord knows I have been in those situations, sister. And but
Now,
for the grace of God,
no,
there go I.
nothing but the grace of God.
Yeah. And so for any challenge, there's no challenge that cannot be conquered. Let me put it like this: no weapon formed against me prospers because of
Come
the
on
God
here.
I serve that's large and in charge. That don't
Woo!
mean it's not gonna form, it's just mean you're not gonna be victorious.
It's not going to prosper. That's right.
Okay? By
That's
now faith.
right.
Dr. King said it like this: faith is, what did he say? The ability to take the step, the first step when you can't see the whole staircase. Hmm? I'm
Yes.
a phenomenal woman.
Yes.
Maya got it right.
Yes.
And again, by the grace of God,
By the
I
grace.
believe that we have. Hey, Lakeisha Jackson Buckley, how you beloved? And Elder Robin Y. Alfred, hey. You know, a few of those are sheroes that have tapped.
Yes.
This is going
Shiro.
to be rebroadcast, right?
I'm sorry.
This gets rebroadcast. They can go and
Yes.
people can see it.
Yes. They
And
can
let
watch
me
the replay.
listen. Let me commend you, sister. I understand you've only been doing this since the pandemic, last fall or so. It's one of
September.
the things
Yes.
birthed out of the pandemic came
Yes.
promise. Isn't
Yes.
that wonderful?
Yes. God is good
That's a beautiful thing. And so,
and faithful.
congratulations to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hmm.
Thank
Hmm.
you so much. I really
Come on, that answer.
appreciate that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
really, really appreciate that.
See, look at it when you had, remember, you've been calling and trying to get, and I had it in my mind to get it. And the reason I'm so encouraged about what you're doing is the look of it looks good. You're
Thank
doing nice
you.
with your questions, your interview. Listen, sister, I'm not on this side of the mic often. I'm trying to let it do what it do.
You have a great sense of humor. I
Well, listen,
love
Denise,
it.
laughter is the music of the soul.
Yes, it is.
And one of our biggest problems, just as humans, is sometimes we take ourselves too seriously.
Yes.
Because if we really just strip down, the reality is we ain't really in charge.
No. Really not
We're caretakers.
caretakers.
So even with the crazy going on, I just believe that all things work together for good for them that love God,
For
for
them that
those
love
of
God.
us who are the called according to God's purpose. I am not oblivious to the pain. There is so much pain, to the
Yes.
hurt, to the trauma.
Wow.
The counseling I do. See, don't forget, even with all this, I still do counseling and I
Yes.
counsel pastors. No,
Wow.
I'm not a pastor in the quote unquote traditional, and you would be surprised who some of the clientele are. You have to be able to understand that even with all the cray cray, the trauma, the exposing, the mental health issues, joblessness, all of the ills that we have. And then let's not forget the trauma and the abuses that took place with everybody being under the same roof sometimes and losing it.
Yes.
And then the children. My God, look at the resilience of the babies.
Yes.
And when you look at all this, Denise, and when I'm doing my regular work of all that, then when I get an opportunity like this where I can sit back and I can smile and maybe bring somebody some joy, or they can be encouraged by saying, "What? That's the system." or what have you. And
Right.
that's what I'm happy to do
Right.
because folk are faced with so many challenges we have out here.
Yes.
And thank God for being God large and in charge for release, for prayer, for sister warriors, for brother
Yes.
warriors, for results, and for relationship.
Relationships.
Yeah.
Yes. 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 That's very important.
hmm hmm
Relationships is very important.
They are because they will carry. Listen, Maya Angelou said, our dearly departed big sis, she said, "You may not remember." I'm paraphrasing somewhat
Right.
what someone said, but you will always remember how they treated you.
Yes.
So my adaptation of that is then that means you'll remember how I treated you.
Right.
Not just me remember how you treated me, but you'll remember how I
I-
treated you. And
Yes.
how is it that I want to be treated? Look, there are folks, honey, you can go find folk who tell you, who, Seretta McKnight? That sister minister? No, I can't stand her. I don't like her. But if you ask them, well, do you respect her?
Hmm.
And overwhelmingly, you're going to get a yes.
Yes.
So that works for me because I ain't going home with them no how. So,
And when you're doing good, a lot of people is not just going to accept it.
mm-mm,
They don't want to see you do good.
but I'm not doing it for them. So,
Exactly.
you know. And the
Exactly.
one thing, listen, honey, I'd rather live my life. I read this someplace and I say it often. I'd rather live my life, live my life as if there is a God, get to the end and find out there is not, as opposed to living my life as if there is no God
No,
and getting to the end and finding out that there is.
there is. Yes.
So that is who has kept me. That is who has shown themselves faithful. That is whom has allowed me to serve.
Yes.
Because Jesus said the greatest among us
Hmm.
is servant.
Is serving. Yes.
That might be why mommy and daddy, Mama La and Papacito, that might be why they named me Seretta.
So,
Servant.
look, we are coming to a close. We are coming
Oh,
to a
Betty?
close. But today is National Flag Day. Can you tell us a little about what that means and why is it important to you?
Not really. It is Flag Day. It's where we commemorate where the red, white, and blue stars and stripes was adopted as the national flag. So, when you Star Spangled Banner, when you go through that, the bombs bursting, how violent, and they have the flag was still there. It's a symbol. It's supposed to be a symbol of freedom, justice, and equality. Well, we still trying to make it make
Yes.
it come to pass. Okay,
Yes.
so basically that's the origins. I'd rather say that Juneteenth is next Saturday,
Right.
and
Explain
that
that.
yes, well, Juneteenth was, word didn't get to Texas until way later that the slaves that those of our ancestors enslaved had been set free. Right, yeah.
Yes.
Well, anyhow, the reality is word got to Texas way late, and it was in June 19th when they received it. So here it is, the commemoration. And on Wednesday night, I will be moderating a panel
Okay.
for Juneteenth as part of the Suffolk County celebration for it. And then just check your local listings, Facebook, Roku TV, YouTube, all the social media platforms, and you'll find it. And it should be an awesome, awesome undertaking. And so we're looking forward to that. That activity. And then everything else coming up, happy Father's Day to all the daddies. I was
Yes.
a daddy's girl. My daddy transitioned, but I tell you, I miss him every day, but he was
Right.
Papacito to me. And then, of course, I got a birthday this week. So another
Oh,
year.
happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, beloved. That's on
Happy
Thursday. And we're going to
birthday.
celebrate on Sitting with the Sister Minister Friday. A couple of my sisters, we Gemini. So whenever we get together, it's like a crew. So 5 of us in the room is 10 people. So, my sister down in Texas, my big sis, Sandra Murphy, let me say happy birthday to her. And then, of course, Beverly Cunningham up here, my vice president, happy birthday to you. And then all the other birthdays for June, because June is jumping.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. That is wonderful. I want you to have a wonderful birthday. Have a wonderful birthday. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And for those that are watching live, thank you. I thank those that will be watching the replay. Sister Minister, it was an honor to have you on the show tonight. You wear many hats. And the thing is that they all require hard work.
To whom much
We
is given, much is required.
Yes, yes. And we really appreciate your commitment and sacrifices. Thank you for fighting for students, families, and our community. I've always admired you. I've always admired you.
Bless your
Keep
heart.
on. Thank you. Thank you. Keep on fighting
Mhm.
because more change is going to come.
It's going to come, and our young people are ready for the young. The
Yes.
old, we know the way, but the young, because they nice and strong. Again, sister, let me say to you, keep doing what you're doing. God bless you on the Denise Newsom show. And
Thank
if you
you.
like, I'll come back and sit with you again.
Yes, for sure. I definitely will have you again. I definitely will. I would love to have you and out in Shopton together.
Listen, he has been doing the work, we go back so many years. And I look now, Dominique, his eldest daughter, she's a mom.
Right.
Kathy Jordan Sharpton, very good friend, my sister girl. And I keep him in prayer and keep him covered. There are those who we pray for consistently,
Yes.
and we do so knowing that God hears us because prayer
Yes.
is the language we use to communicate with God. But Denise, really, I thank you. I thank you for a moment
Thank
just to
you.
be able to relax, to breathe, to have fun.
Good. I'm
Um,
glad.
I
I
thank
am
you.
so glad. It's important to be able to do that.
Yes.
It's important to be able to do that. I am going to ask you all to join us next week. But for the next 3 weeks, we're going to be doing replays on those that we had the most viewers. Next week will be Pastor Veronica Altman Davis, and her topic was um, "It Ain't What It Looks Like." It ain't what it looks like. And then the week after that is going to be Evangelist Deetra Moody and her panel on cancer survivors. And her topic is I Win. And then we're going to have author Uwani Huge, and his is Bo Saga. Okay. So have a good night. God bless you and stay safe.
You just need a little